Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my beautiful, beautiful wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing great. What a treat. I get you on a Friday night all by myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, that's okay. You can hang out with me.
Yeah, I love hanging out with you.
Yeah. I like hanging out with you too. You're awesome. You're awesome, and also everybody who's listening. You guys are awesome, and we really love talking to you. And today on Pillow Talk, we wanted to sort of jump in as scholars. Really, both of us, our backgrounds in academia, and we saw this thing that went down with Michael Eric Dyson. I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me know if you saw it. I shared the article earlier on social media. But how many of you knew that Michael Eric Dyson? First of all, how many of you know about Michael Eric Dyson? If you're familiar with his work, and what he does, and stuff like that. Give me a yes or no if you know who Michael Eric Dyson is, because I think that's a good place to start. Babe,
Yes.
what do you think about Dyson? You like his
Okay,
work?
so I do know about Michael Eric Dyson. I'm not sure what university. Where is he at?
He was at Georgetown, and now he's
He,
at Vanderbilt.
okay, so he's bounced around. Is he bouncing around
Um,
from different
well,
universities?
I would say bouncing around. I mean, he's been with Georgetown for a while.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So Dyson,
Okay,
I don't know if you all saw, but Dyson was at Georgetown. I think he moved to Vanderbilt. And
Vanderbilt.
the article I read today, and I got to dig it up to really look at it because I sent it to you.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, you can pull it up. Yeah, where basically he's under investigation. Georgetown reveals that he's under investigation, and that raised my eyebrows. Not because I believe he's guilty of anything. I'm not here to say any of that, but it got my attention because it's ironic that right now Cornell West, his peer, he just had a big battle with Harvard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had my battle with Syracuse, and it's just kind of an interesting thing with these big white universities. They just kind of
It's a chilly climate for Black professors at universities. Very chilly climate for us.
it's terrible. Well,
Hmm.
it's crap. That's what it is. It's a
Hmm.
bunch of BS. These racist sons of anyway.
It
So
is.
so Dyson is under this investigation, and it has to do with a student claiming that he harassed her when she was at Georgetown, and I thought that was really interesting. So Mariama's asking, what was he investigated for? So what do you have the
Oh,
article? I,
let me
I
grab.
can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up
You're
too.
gonna pull it up.
You can pull it up,
Well,
and
you pull it up then.
well, how about we both pull it up, and then that way we
I
can,
started reading some of it.
because I can't find your message. I'm trying to find. I got a bunch of crap in my. Here we go.
Here it
Okay.
is.
It's according to the Georgetown Voice. It says Georgetown. Oh, give me a yes or no, everybody in the chat, if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me because I'm on another screen. And it says Georgetown investigated Professor Michael Eric Dyson for student harassment allegations before his hire by Vanderbilt. Now, I don't think they mentioned if the investigation is still going. I guess if he's not faculty anymore, he wouldn't be investigating anymore, right?
No, I think it's still, I think with the new Title IX, because I have to do those trainings every 6 months. I think with the new Title IX legislation that universities have recently incorporated into their own policy at the university, it doesn't even matter. You could be a visitor. You could come to campus and visit and mention something to someone about sexual harassment, and the university is responsible for that. So they're responsible for everything on the campus.
Mm.
That's what Joe Biden put that forth right at the tail end of his political career with
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah, but Joe Biden was also. I think he was going around repeating a quote that said 1 out of every 4 college women is raped.
That might be true.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not true. It's not true. If you
Really?
search, yeah, if you Google search that, you will find that that's not true. There are researchers in the field who have been consistently saying that's not true. But Biden's repeating it because somebody on BuzzFeed said it using bad faulty data, and he just ran with it. He just ran with it, and there have been scholars.
So he used that to
I
push his policy.
right.
I'd have to check that because, okay, let's just say, okay, let me just make one statement.
Mhm.
Sexual assault on college campuses are pretty, they're more than what you would
Mhm.
think there to be. So there's a lot of cover up with that with universities because they don't want to be associated with, oh, you send your daughter to this university, they're not going to be safe. So a lot of those stories do get covered up a lot. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to say that.
Well, I don't
Hmm.
disagree. I agree with that. I mean, with all the alcohol flowing, stuff is going to happen.
Especially those, well, it
Those
depends if you have a dry campus or not. Like, we don't have a dry campus.
Well, with those drunken frat parties, I've never liked any of that. I just I feel like with Syracuse, I felt like they weren't doing enough to
Hmm.
stop these 18-year-olds from becoming alcoholics. I think that that's too much. But anyway, let me read about
Okay.
Dyson here, so that's cool. If you guys could hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. This is a segment we do called Pillow Talk, and we're literally laid against our pillows while we're talking. That's why we call it Pillow Talk.
Yeah, we are.
How
We're in the
logical is that?
bed.
Yes, we are right here in the bed, and we ain't gonna talk to y'all too long because there's other things you can do in the bed.
Oh,
Maybe
boys.
maybe you can
Okay, read
jog
the
my
article.
memory.
Oh
can,
my
can you
gosh.
remind me what else is a bed used for? I can't remember.
Sleep. We can sleep.
We can
Sleep
sleep.
well.
That's right. Yeah, that's what we'll be doing. Lots of sleep. All right, so I'm gonna sleep
My
your
mom.
brains out, girl.
Now wait, my mama's listening to
Oh
this.
no,
Can't have
no,
her hear
mama,
that.
no, mama. Your daughter's a virgin, mama. Your daughter's a
Why are you
virgin.
gonna say that?
All her kids can confirm that.
That's right.
So here's what okay, so I'm gonna read some of this to you. This is from the Georgetown Voice, and it says Michael Eric Dyson is the Georgetown investigated Professor Michael Eric Dyson for student harassment allegations before his hire by Vanderbilt. Georgetown conducted an investigation to Professor Michael Eric Dyson beginning in February 2020 in the pandemic. Isn't that interesting?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
right before the pandemic started, so they were
Hmm.
still in class at that time. Okay, for allegations of harassment and repeated attempts to establish an off-campus relationship with a female student in one of his Georgetown classes, according to the student in emails obtained by The Voice. Georgetown's Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Affirmative Action Office, which IDEA, that's what it
Yeah,
IDEA.
every university has their own
Everybody's
little
trying to
acronym
these damn
for the office that houses all of
let,
that stuff.
let me just tell you, these universities are robbing people blind. Like, did you know that as they've been increasing the cost of tuition way well beyond the rate of inflation, like
Hmm.
insane, that the number of administrators per student has like skyrocketed.
Yeah, I
They
know
just hire all these
why.
damn administrators.
Yeah, so it's a really top heavy. First of all, it doesn't trickle down to faculty salary.
No, it
I'll
doesn't.
say that much. But it does because students have such great need. So they're coming to universities, and there's a lot that they claim that they need, and they actually do have needs. Like, I know we have like a counseling department at my university, and it's at all universities. Like, they're filling up with people. Students are coming, they're anxious, they're worried, they don't have enough money. We put a lot of, as faculty, we put a lot of pressure on them to perform at a high level. And so they really do need extra services.
Mm.
So,
I think
it's a
they.
different, the college student now is just different how it was back in the day. Hmm.
I think they. I mean, I think it's helpful. I'm not saying it's all a waste, but I think universities need to stop raising tuition so much. But that's
Yeah.
another
But
conversation.
students are being coddled.
Hmm.
That's a whole nother topic though. The coddling of the college student, it just drives me crazy. We
Yeah.
coddle them. We really it's There's pressure on you not really to hold them to high standards because they just crumble. They're like snowflakes.
Well, that's where America's failing. America.
I got my butt kicked in school and I learned a lot
Hmm.
from it, but that ain't gonna fly now.
Hey, y'all better start teaching your kids and your grandkids Chinese because the Chinese they don't play that stuff. They don't coddle their kids. They will control the future. But anyway, let me keep
Okay,
it.
let's continue on.
All right. So it says here that the allegations against Dyson, one of the country's foremost black scholars, goes back to the 2000s. But this action triggered the first known formal inquiry into Dyson's behavior. The Georgetown investigation, which included interviews with BSC members and the student, extended through the summer of 2020. The BSC is the Black Survivors Coalition. So
So the Black Survivors
apparently,
Coalition take
yeah.
down black faculty?
Right.
Is that what they do?
Next thing they go see is they're gonna do their little documentary called Surviving Michael Eric Dyson. He had a conversation with me and gave me bedroom eyes. I've been traumatized ever since.
Oh my gosh.
He looked at me and noticed that I was pretty. That's the same as being raped.
Well, what word? Okay, read on because let's
Okay.
just listen to what someone has said
Okay, let's
about
say.
them.
All right, so let's keep going. All right. In an interview with The Voice, the student who will remain anonymous. So the student interviewed with The Voice anonymously disclosed details of Dyson's harassment while she was enrolled in one of his classes at Georgetown in the fall of 2019. According to the student, 62-year-old Dyson attempted to use his status and connections to establish a relationship outside the classroom. The student alleges that repeated private dinner invitations off campus, personal text messages, and instances of unwanted physical touch and
Ooh.
proximity, including invasions of personal space and an instance of Dyson massaging the student in class. When she offered to meet Dyson during the office hours, instead, according to the student, he insisted on private conversations outside an academic setting. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's not very professional. I mean, if that's what if she has evidence of that. So what happened? Because here's what happens. You have an allegation like that, and the university has to investigate. So it just says investigate it. Like, what were the conclusions from the investigation? Because legally, they can advise the student to just make a police report. I mean, universities don't have to handle all of that in house.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, the Catholic Church. Remember, they were handling their investigations in house. Like, you
Right.
can make a report, file a report. But I wonder what that means. Read on with the article. It's really interesting.
Okay. Well, I'm just
Mhm.
going to say, first of all, I'm going to say that I smell some BS here. Not because I think Dyson couldn't have done anything wrong. And Dyson, I've disagreed with him, on different occasions. In fact,
Mhm.
Mike and I don't even talk anymore because I agreed with Cornell West when him and Cornell fell out. I was team Cornell more so, and I talked to both of them individually for extensive periods of time about the other one. When I saw Cornell, I saw Dyson. It broke my heart because Dyson has never been mean to me. He's never, done anything wrong to me. I just disagreed with him, but I saw him at a event at Brown, and I'm not, according to white people, I'm not anywhere near a Dyson or a Cornell West, right? So, well, I'm like the replacement guy. So what happened was, here's what happened. This is a true story, y'all. I promise you this. You can actually go see this on the internet. So Dyson was supposed to debate Cornell West at Brown University. And Cornell refused to debate Dyson. He refused to be on stage with him. So Brown University calls me because the white speakers bureau, they're like, okay, let's find some Negro to replace the one that we had before.
They'll prop
So
you up.
so they're like Boyce
They're like,
Watkins. He's a fringe guy, but we'll go ahead and take him in. This is over a decade ago, back when I actually was interested in taking money from white people, whatever, right? So they called me and they called me to replace Cornell West in this debate, and it was the coolest thing. It had never been that easy to get money for a speaking engagement. Like my manager was like, I told them that your fee was $10,000, and they just said okay. I said, shit, you should have asked for 20. You should have asked for 20. Because I know, here's the thing. I know when Mike and those guys would go get these speeches, they would get 25, 30. Tavis Smiley was getting like crazy money.
so they already had $20,000 in the budget.
Yes,
You should have.
they probably would have went to 25. I bet I could have asked them for 25, and they would have been like, well,
Yes.
we only have 22. And I'd be like, damn, okay, I'll save you $3,000.
See, I know how university budgets operate. They already got that approval, and they
Yes.
had to give money back
Well,
because
these white people have money. That's why they need to be part of the team paying. They need to be team reparations.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
these universities and corporations have insane amounts of money. And whenever I want everybody to know, like, whenever you see, like, when you see like Mark Lamar Hill kind of kissing up to white liberals, a lot of that is because those people have money. Like, imagine doing like,
He ain't dumb.
imagine,
He's
right,
smart.
right. I'm the dummy. I'm the
You're
one
the
who's like,
fool, Boyce.
I'm gonna do it by myself, and all that. But I'm telling you, like, that money is crazy. So they invited me to come speak at Brown, and they just paid me 10 grand like it wasn't nothing, right? So I probably could have got 20, didn't even know it. And I get there, right, and Dyson was there, and I'm mortified because Dyson and Cornell West were my heroes. Like, I looked up to these guys. I'm like, I'm about to debate Dyson, but the only reason I was okay with the debate was because we were going to debate hip hop, and it's a thing. It's an issue I've discussed with you guys on many occasions. I actually talked about it probably, I think today, actually, a little bit today, is whether or not hip hop artists should be responsible for their words. And Dyson, the trapping that comes,
Everybody should be
the trapping that
responsible.
right, I agree. The trapping that comes with being in that celebrity space is that you become friends with all these celebrities, and you get that ego boost of being, buddies with Rick Ross and Jay-Z and all this other stuff. Dyson is trapped by that. I'm not, right? So my feeling is, I don't care how famous you are, you need to be responsible for what you're saying to these children, right? Whereas,
So Cornell West couldn't do it, and you filled in for
yes,
Cornell West. So you debated, Michael Eric Dyson on hip hop.
Yes, and
Okay.
the debate's on Brown. If people look it up at Brown University, if you
It's
look,
still up there. No
it's
one
still
took
up
it
there. If you
down.
look up Boyce Watkins, Michael Eric Dyson, Brown University, you can go watch the debate. Now, and I think I won, but I probably didn't because Dyson's so. I mean, that man
He
he's
memorizes lyrics and everything. I've seen him
he's
talk.
such a good speaker. He's one of the greatest speakers ever. Problem is sometimes he really ain't saying nothing. Y'all ever hear those speakers that use like real long, eloquent words and they flow real good, but they ain't really nothing's like actually like there's nothing like actionable from it. It's like a good preacher. You ever go to church where you hear the preacher and he'll be like, and Jesus went to the water.
Well, they take that neuro linguistic programming course.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they understand how to
Right,
speak.
right. And then they'll be like, and I said, Jesus
Yeah, they
went
know how
to
to
the
talk.
water.
They know.
Right. He didn't go to the house.
Hmm.
He didn't get on the bike. He didn't go back to see his mother. He went to the water.
No, you say he went to the what? And then you let the
He went to.
crowd say
Oh,
water.
that's right. That's right.
And you keep it
Yes.
going.
And people be by the time it's over, people be jumping up and down.
They don't even know. It's feel good talk. And they ain't really done.
Yes.
They ain't told
Yes.
you nothing, haven't changed your life. You're going right back to your life.
Yeah. So one
Okay.
thing Dyson has, I don't think I'm gonna ever have this, is he's got that preacher rapper swag. Preachers and rappers are pretty much have the same profession,
Yeah.
and they are the best speakers ever because they can feed you a big ball of nothing, and you will walk out of there feeling like you really just got the keys to the universe.
Let me tell you, I am watching. This is so off topic. I'm watching this show called The Path. And it is on Hulu. It is so good. If you want to know like mind control and what they say and do to manipulate you emotionally to get to do stuff and to join these cults, you have got to watch The Path. But anyway,
Okay.
but it's funny how I don't know. It's just funny how they talk. And then they know stuff about you before you get in there. And then they use that. It's really bizarre. And they use that to like hook you in and to get you to pay money. Basically, you anteing up money.
Well,
And it's amazing how it works.
Well, that's a hell of a talent they have, man. But yeah, so Dyson, but
Okay.
but Dyson's a great speaker, right? So
Mhm.
Dyson, after we did the debate, he and I talked about, I remember he talked about Cornel West, and he was really upset with Cornel. I could tell he was hurt, and we talked for like an hour about it, and then when I talked to Cornel about Dyson was when we did that event. Actually, Mark Lamont Hill, I invited Mark. This is literally back in 2013, so I invited Mark Lamont Hill and Cornel West and some others to an event we had in Brooklyn at Medgar Evers College, and we called it I forgot what we called it. Oh, the New Paradigm Tour, Wealth, Education, Family, and Community: The New Paradigm for Black America. I have
that is great.
Yeah, I have a book with that title. Like literally, if you go to allblackeconomics.com, by the way, you can actually read the book for free.
You know, the four of you all are so remarkable. The four of you all, like, why can't y'all get along? This is the beef that needs to be squashed. Go ahead.
There's no beef. Well, with Mark,
there's kind of some beef.
Mark's beefing with me. Mark does not like it, but then again, I probably don't make it easy.
I mean, the four of you gentlemen, and I'm gonna call all four of y'all gentlemen. The four of you gentlemen would do such a great. I mean, just together, you're like a brilliant mind altering experience. Just the four of y'all together.
You know
y'all powerhouse people.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm always down with Cornel West. I love that guy so much, and I love Dyson too, and even Mark. I don't dislike him.
It's the egos. Egos got involved. That's
ego.
what it is.
It could be.
The room's not big enough for four egos.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So anyway, so Cornel had I remember him talking a really long time about Dyson. Like me and him were talking. I spent like 5 hours with him, and we talked about everything. I mean, so many things. I wish I could share everything, but I can't. But I remember it's kind of seeing what was going on with that. So with Dyson, it's like he fell out with Cornel West. And I remember I took the side of Cornel. I said, I think you're wrong. I think you're just wrong on this because you were taking the side of Obama against Cornel West. And Cornel was right. I believe Cornel was right. Obama did not serve the Black community. And he kind of got away with a lot. Right. And so after that, Dyson, I stopped speaking, but it broke my heart because I liked the guy.
Hold on. Who stopped what? So did he just get all salty with you or what? Like, I want to know what happened.
I think that he saw my.
He just gave you a cold shoulder out of the blue. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was kind of like that because I think he felt like I was probably like a threat to him in the sense of me not being supportive. Like I didn't mean. Sometimes I say stuff and it comes out harsher than I mean for it to come out. Like I'll just say it, and
Ah,
sometimes people get hurt, and
yes,
I
you do
I
do
think it's
that
hurt. Yeah. So
sometimes.
but with Dyson, but I respect him though in terms of
Uh-huh.
his intelligence, and I think in this particular situation with Georgetown, I think Georgetown's wrong. I think it's this investigation. If you notice in the
Uh-huh.
article, they interview the young lady who's accusing him,
But they
and
kept her
they
anonymous.
keep her
That's
anonymous,
what's kind of
right?
bothers me
Yeah.
sometimes because okay, so first of all, Title IX investigation, all of that should be confidential. So I think it's just really interesting that that got out. You're not supposed to show. You're not supposed to share that information. That's
Yeah. How did they get out? I wonder if he could sue them for that.
yeah. It's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be naming people.
Yeah, you're not
That's
supposed to
just
name.
tacky.
Yeah, you're not supposed to name the accuser or the accused, in my view, because
Uh-huh.
you don't know who the victim is.
That's why I was asking questions about what happened from the investigation. Like, is that the reason why he left the university because of the accusation, and the university
Hmm.
came down on him? Like, what came from that? So
Yeah,
read
I
on
wonder if
with the
he, I
article.
wonder if he was pressured to resign. So
Yeah.
the ideal investigation into Dyson began after student advocates raised concerns about his behavior in a conversation with university president John DeGoya and vice president for institutional diversity and equity Rosemary Kilkenny during the BSC sit-in in front of DeGoya's office from February 24th to 28th last year. During the week-long protest, students called for improved resources for Black survivors of sexual assault and harassment. A video recording from the sit-in obtained by The Voice shows a member of the BSC naming Dyson as an individual who
Dyson was the only one named, so it was just one
uh,
faculty member, and all these students get together to take him down, or was it other faculty?
it doesn't say. It just says a video recording from the sit-in shows a member of the BSC naming Dyson as an individual who posed a threat to Black women and femme students on campus. So femme not the
What's
same.
a film student?
What's a femme, y'all? Is that like a dude that says wants to be a woman? Because I know people pick their gender nowadays. What's a FEMME? What's a FEMME?
Film. I don't know. Okay,
Let's see.
read on. We'll have
Okay.
we
Here,
sound like a
let
bunch
me
of old people that don't
hold
get
on.
what's
Let
going on.
me. SD Brown says Boyce gossiping again. Oh, he doesn't sound intelligent enough to be on the platform. So that's it. Everybody say goodbye, Mr. Brown. Good.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Don't just
I want to. He should
listen
be out of here. He shouldn't be in the chat. I don't like
because
unintelligent
they say
people.
you gossip. Well,
Maybe I shouldn't just block people. I just ain't got time for stupid
you
people. I
just
just
block.
don't. I don't. But you know what? That's probably why I don't have as many friends. You know what? SD Brown,
Don't
you
block
can stay.
him.
Keep staying.
Keep
Yeah,
him
let's let
on.
him stay so he can keep saying dumb stuff in the chat. You need a heckler to every now and then.
Dumb stuff. Okay, read on.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
better things to talk about.
Yeah,
Go
I
on.
was gonna kick him out, but I'm not gonna put him
Don't
out.
kick him out.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
not
go.
gonna put him out. All right, the Negro naysayers can stay. All right, so the Negro naysayers. Anything black and positive, I got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of all these positive, intelligent
Here's
Negroes.
the thing. I think that you had an experience, and that's your experience, and you should share your story.
You talking
So,
about with the
I
student?
don't think that it's gossip. I just think it's
Oh,
you
are you talking
sharing
about
your
the student?
story.
Are you talking about me or the student?
So I'm talking about the person who said you were gossiping.
Oh, I don't care what those people. I don't care. He's probably repeating.
Okay, well, don't
He's
be
he's
you're
probably not a guy.
sensitive.
Yeah, he's probably not a guy capable of originating his own
Okay,
thoughts.
read
I'm
on,
sure he's
boys.
repeating something Kwame Brown told him to say because
Oh
he's.
my gosh, boys.
Yeah, that's what happens. People say there's a lot of stupid people out here. They don't know.
Okay, I don't
They don't have their
understand.
own thoughts, so they'll hear a YouTuber say it and then they'll just repeat it because they don't have their own opinion about things. They just get their opinions from people
Okay,
on
read
YouTube.
the article. Read the
All right.
article.
So it said so the student names Dyson
Okay.
in as a threat to Black women and femme students on campus. Um, when you call a Black man a threat, I need to know what you're talking about. If you say that he's a threat, um, I need to know. I really need you to understand. I really need to understand from you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, a threat to me is somebody who's going to really harm you, right? A
Mm-hmm.
threat is somebody that can really that's going to kick your ass. That's going to, God forbid, assault you in some way. So when you start calling him a threat, what are you talking about? Like, be specific. I think that because being labeled as a threat is a such a serious accusation, there needs to be pressure
Well,
on those who make that accusation to explain how you feel threatened. Like it's like when
because people are, I mean, college students are threatened by Black male professors.
right, they're scared
They're
of Black
very
men,
much
right?
threatened by them.
Yeah.
Even if I'll just say that. I'll just say that much. They're threatened. They're threatened by all Black professors. Yeah, especially if you try to enforce yourself and here's the policies of the class and you enforce it and you speak in a way that's very direct. They're just not used to that, and so they're going to see that as a threat. That's just how they are.
Yeah, yeah, and I
That's
think,
what you're up
and I don't
against.
like, so I don't like that word threat.
Yeah, it's
Now,
cross
now,
cultural.
if you say, he tried to holler at me and I didn't like it, okay, let's get that fixed, right? But I don't like this whole idea like you're a threat, like where you're lumping everybody in the category of rapists. Like you're trying to elevate your status to that of a rape of survivor because you quote unquote survived somebody trying to holler at you.
Hmm.
And I just think I mean, sure, okay, should a professor be engaged in that kind of interaction with a student on any level? No, right? You do all you can to avoid that, etc. But at the same time, though, that's not a threat.
Let me tell you. Okay, so my dad was a college professor and he didn't play. He used to tell me all the time. He First of all, he does not meet with students in his office very much. And if he does, the door stays open the entire time.
Hmm.
And they stand. I think he removed his chairs. He doesn't even want people sitting down because they stay too long when you sit down, and he just
Hmm.
didn't want that. And then he said, like, of students, because his profession is a highly female dominated profession, so he was really cautious. He was just all, I think he may have been just paranoid anyway, but for a good reason probably. But he wouldn't allow, female students in his office very long, and if they were there and they talked too long, he would just say, can you put that in writing and send it to me? So he didn't
Hmm.
really, he told me did not play that. So he just didn't want to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Hmm.
think, I mean, I don't even feel safe. And we talk about feeling threatened. I mean, if white people can walk around saying they feel threatened by every black man that walks by, well, guess what? I feel threatened by white females. Uh,
White females scare me
yeah, and,
sometimes
and and in general,
because their tears and their words, I
yeah,
know firsthand, it goes a long way.
right. Becky tears
Becky
have
tears
sent
go a
many
long.
have gotten many black men killed. So how many of y'all? Let's play a little game right now. Um, there's a white woman that wants to meet with us alone. How many of y'all feel threatened by that white woman?
Ooh, what you gonna do? Suppose you
Right.
get an email. You're at a university, you get an email, and it's a white female student that wants to meet with you. It is
Hmm.
like sweat's gonna pour down your
Yeah, I
face.
could be like, oh my God,
What
I
is
was
it?
traumatized. I was so threatened.
You're like, oh Lord.
I'm gonna report you, and I'm gonna have them investigate
You
you.
know what? Actually, you might want to meet with them in a public place.
I
So
know.
maybe that's what Michael Eric Dyson was doing. Maybe he was saying, "Don't meet me in my office. Let's meet in a public. Let's meet in a public place so we can have witnesses."
Well, let's not get carried away here.
Well, I'm just
You know
trying
that
to
part.
turn it
Let's
around.
keep it 100. You know what really, let's just be real. Let me tell you one time, I talked to a guy, OG professor. Now, when I went to Syracuse University and I was on the faculty there, my father gave me good advice. My father said, don't you have sex with nothing on that campus, not even your colleagues, not even women that you work with, let alone students. And I didn't.
That was good
I did
advice.
not, whatever. But there was one guy who was my age who did get caught up in an entanglement with a student. And what happened was they had a relationship. It ended, and 7 months later, she accused him of sexual misconduct. And so he had a mugshot. They put his mugshot on TV. He's like a rapist. He's a professor. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't even want to put that light on the poor guy. But
Okay,
little,
so wait, so allegations. Here's the thing. What happened to due process?
I
Like
don't
what
know.
happened just because there's an allegation, there needs to be an investigation and they need to talk about at the beginning like why are we 3 paragraphs down from this article and I don't know the results of this investigation.
Right. And why do we know Dyson's name and not her name?
Yeah, why don't we know who she is?
Yeah,
Let us
like
know
this.
who. If
Yeah,
I was Michael Eric Dyson, I would plaster her name all over.
I would go to this
I
newspaper.
would put her face
I
up
would sue this newspaper too. Like, what if you're not gonna
or sue
if
her
you're
for
gonna
talking about you
that
like
too,
that.
yeah. If you're gonna,
That's
yeah,
slander.
you know what? He probably started his career like 10, 15 years before she was born. Like think about this. She's probably 25 years old or less, and he's 62. So she could easily be almost as much as 40 years younger than him, which right there would be a little bit strange if he's trying to holler, but whatever. But still though, like you know, he done built this career. He's built this reputation all these years. It's a multi-million-dollar brand, and you're messing it up by accusing him of something, and you claim to have endured this irreparable harm and haven't proved anything.
Like, was she a student of his? So that's the
I
thing.
think she was a student. Yeah.
Oh, you just don't want to.
It's
He,
not
I think it's just. Oh, he
it,
shouldn't have.
it's not appropriate, but it's like saying, but to me
You
that
shouldn't text a
you know what?
student
You're
or
right.
like that.
I do
A
agree, but
female student.
let's not get in. If victim blaming is not good for women, then we shouldn't do that to men.
Well,
It,
it's just saying we need to do something like I want to talk to my son when he goes to college and tell him, listen, don't put no women up in your dorm.
right, but if he did and she falsely accused him, that doesn't mean he
He
deserved it.
don't need to do that.
Right, because think about that, right? Because when you tell him, you're like, you shouldn't have had those women around you, or you shouldn't have, or you tell Dyson, you shouldn't have even tried to holler at her, or you wouldn't be going through all this. I get that. I totally get that for sure. But at the same time, that's like telling a woman, if you didn't go to the party and pass out drunk, then nothing would have happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And and that's good advice. But at the same time, that doesn't nullify the fact that she was victimized.
Or he was victimized.
Or he or she, right?
He or
Whoever
she
the
was
victim is.
victimized. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
So let me keep going. All right. So it says, according to the anonymous student, right? Dyson's not anonymous, but
that
she is.
bothers me.
And Joey Brown, a member of the BSC, that black group that seems to hate Dyson. The conversation with administrators during the sit-in prompted Kilkenny to begin an investigation into Dyson in her role as IDAA liaison. The Georgetown investigation concluded in mid-September of 2020, but according to the student and BSC members, its results were not made public, as is consistent with IDAA policy.
Oh, so the results were not made public.
The university did not confirm the end of the investigation or release results in response to a Boyce inquiry.
Oh, that is a bunch of crap.
So that means that they didn't
So
find
all
anything.
they can do is say there was an investigation, but
Mhm.
that's it. And they can name the person who was investigated against, but they can't name the other person.
Right.
And they cannot identify what happened because of the investigation. That is a bunch of BS
that's
if I have
America.
ever seen it.
Well, that's
That
America.
is
that's America.
bizarre.
They will protect the white woman.
How do I know? Okay,
And it could have
I
been
don't like the grade that you get. How do I know?
And it could have been a black woman, right? So think about it. The accuser could be black. Dyson seems like he probably likes black. Well, black women are just more attractive anyway. So he probably it was probably a black
We don't
woman.
know. But the thing is how well, okay, if I don't like something that you said, or if I don't like something that you've done, I can just make up something out of clear blue sky because the university has to investigate. They have to investigate. Like, they can't not investigate. They can identify you as the target of the investigation. They can give details of the investigation, but they can't name they can't name me, and they can't name the results of what happened. I think that is a bunch of malarkey. I hate that.
Malarkey.
That's malarkey.
That's not a black person word.
I want to curse, but I'm not going to curse.
Why don't you say bullshit?
I don't want to curse.
But
it is. It's just.
Well, you know what it is. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
What are we coming to?
Remember back in what was it, '98, when we went to that Cornel West speech at the University of Chicago?
We did meet Cornel West.
We met him, and he talked to me for like 3 seconds.
We were just like in the audience listening.
Yeah. We loved him back then. So back then, that was my dream. My dream as a young scholar was I wanted to be like Cornel West and like Michael Eric Dyson. Right, I wanted to do what they do. Right, and because I remember seeing Dyson for the first time on BET, and he's like fast talking, and I'm super impressed, and I wanted to be like that. And then along the way, I realized that I don't want to be like either one of them. Not because I don't admire what they do, and not that I don't think they are great men who've done great things. I realized I didn't want to be like them because the world is not fair for a black man. The world is just not fair for black men. And I'm happy that Cornell was at Harvard, but look at what Harvard did to Cornell.
Yeah, it's not a good. Those two men have just been beaten up by universities,
right?
And they're so dedicated to universities. Right. I don't get it. They have nowhere else to go. Where else you gonna go?
Right. And Dyson was at Georgetown. Look at what Georgetown did to Dyson. So both of these guys, I mean, two of the most respected scholars in the country are being crapped on. And so. And I know I went through my battle with Syracuse, but what I learned from that was I learned that I needed to take a twist. I said, fuck these people. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to sit up under you and let you abuse me, have me falsely accused, stain my reputation. I said, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go out fighting. And I went and I just walked away. And I said, I don't need your validation. I don't need, because it means nothing. It really means nothing. Impressing a bunch of wine and cheese eating, hoity toity ass, stuck up, snobbish racists should mean nothing to a black man. So I went and I took my PhD and did something else with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that, and I tell you what, I've never been happier. I was 100 times more successful that way. I was able to still go out and do all the things I could have done in academia, except I've done it more. When I book a first class plane ticket, it's because my company paid for it. When I'm giving a speech somewhere around the world, it's because I set up that venue. I set up the whole business operation. I paid myself from that whole event. And that's very different from the model that we're given. The model we're given is that if you do a good job and if they like you, then they'll give you opportunities.
It's
And I
so.
think I think the black man has to create his own opportunities, because these people are they're terrible. They're terrible people.
Yeah, it is awful people that's running these universities. And I love universities. Like I love college campuses. Like our yearly trip to Bloomington, Indiana, and we go in Indiana and we see the students and the faculty. Like it is such a great thing to be on a higher learning campus. Just a place where it's like smart. Even University of Chicago, when we visited there,
Oh yeah.
it's just such a cool place just to be. I mean, this is aside of the people, but it's just
Mhm.
the energy and the feeling that you get on college campuses. That's something that we
Yes.
always love. And it's terrible to get beaten up, so to speak, because it's like you just have such resentment towards the university. Almost like how my brother, he graduated from a Catholic high school and they treated him so bad he would not go to church. He can't go to, even to this day. If you
Damn.
mention going to church, he can't go because of the way the nuns and stuff treated him. They treated
Mm,
him really awfully bad.
mm.
And like he wouldn't go. He just can't go. And it's a place, in my mind, it's a place of comfort. But for him, it wasn't because he got treated so poorly,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
I think it's just kind of, and we know Maurice Green, who has the Black Doctoral Network, and
Mhm,
all
mhm,
the PhDs and stuff in that group. And I really just think that a lot of black scholars get abused in academia because because they lock you in a box. They only give you one specific tiny little skill that's only applicable and tradable in one particular space. And what that's like giving somebody $1 million worth of a cryptocurrency that can only be used within one network. Like if I give you
mhm.
$1 million worth of Cardano coins and I say you can't trade them for dollars, you can only use them in the Cardano network. Well, what happens if the network boots you out? You go from being rich to poor. You have nothing. And that's what happens. We get these skills that are not transferable in our mind anyway. They're not transferable to other spaces. And what I realized was, I said, wait a minute, I went through this hell to get this PhD. I'm damn smart. I'm damn good at what I do. I know
Mhm,
finance and
mhm,
investing like nobody's business.
mhm.
There's a million ways for me to go out here and get this bread and succeed. I ain't got to worry about what y'all people think. I'm gonna do my best, be a
But
good
you shouldn't have
person.
been worried about it in the beginning. And that's the part, that's
Yeah.
the learning process that I had to go through. Like, you don't know who you are and you don't know. Try to go and hobnob with them and try to get into their circles. I mean, you'll figure out who you are, but it makes you
Mhm.
so strong. Like
Mhm.
you kind of talk about me bad, like, oh, Alicia's getting all determined. Like I that came out of me. That was pulled out of me through this whole process. Not
Mhm.
only just getting a PhD, but getting tenure, that was tough. Getting promoted to professor, that was tough. I mean, there were some uncomfortable seats I was in. So it just makes me I kind of lost it a little bit. I just need you to bring me back, boys. Say, Alicia, you didn't lost it,
Well, I don't think
you
you should
know.
ever want to be somewhere where you're not wanted. I
Oh,
think
let me
that's it.
tell you, I don't care if I'm one. That's
I,
the thing. Like my thing is
Mhm.
like, I don't care if I'm wanted. I'm here. I will leave on my terms, not on your terms.
I
Like I
think.
deserve to be here like anybody else. I'm not gonna inconvenience myself and apply for another. You know how stressful it is to apply for a university job. Do you know how
Mhm.
stressful it is to move your whole family to Vermont or some crazy place there,
Mhm.
some university that wants you? I'm not gonna inconvenience myself because you're uncomfortable with me. So
Mm.
I just take it for what it is. I do not look for people who do not like me for acceptance.
Well, I agree, but I
And I
don't.
have a smile on
Right.
my face and I have my head up high and I'm moving on.
Well, I hear that, but I'm just
Hmm.
saying, like, I don't want to be places I'm not wanted. Like I agree with you, but I mean, it's like if you don't want me there and you're doing all you can to make my life uncomfortable, like making me teach classes I don't want to teach and all this other stuff. I think black scholars get highly disrespected because
Oh, they
we
never
end
get
up we end
respect.
up fighting for tenure, and and then they don't give it to us, and then you're kind of stuck out there. And I think it's fine if you want to stay for the good fight, but I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
felt like there was other places for me to be, and I'm glad I left. I'm glad, but anyway, with Dyson, I think that this whole thing with Georgetown, this investigation is a problem for me because if they're going to reveal his name, they should reveal the woman's name too.
He
And
should do a press release and put her
mhm.
face up
well, what
and
he
her
well,
name.
what he should do is sue them. I think he should sue the woman. He should sue the school. He should sue the newspaper because apparently, if they didn't release the results of the investigation, that tells me that they probably didn't find anything that was provable.
Yeah,
That's the
because if
that.
they found something that was provable, he'd be arrested
Hmm.
in jail right now. Because I know universities ain't gonna allow somebody to be violated like that and then not take it up with the court of law.
Hmm. Right.
So that means nothing came of it. Nothing even came of it.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Again, if you say that he's a threat is something that can really harm you. If a man, is it really? I don't. Y'all give me a yes or no. Y'all give me a yes or no. If a man tells you that you're beautiful and he would like to get to know you better, does that make him a threat necessarily? Like like when I first met
Well,
you, if I had said
okay.
I think you're gorgeous and I would like to be your boyfriend,
You never said that to
I
me
never
though.
said it when I met you. I didn't. I should have, but I didn't.
You should have.
But what if I said that? And let's say that you were busy, or let's say I said that while you had a boyfriend. Would I be a threat?
No.
Exactly.
I would be how is that threatening? I'd be so flattered.
Right.
Like, ooh, I'm feeling. You would have made my day, Boyce. I was like, oh, look at that, Boyce likes me today, and I just would have been all
Yeah.
carried.
I.
I would have had a little click to my step as I walked down the street. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think that what they got to do is they got to. You really need to separate like legit, serious threats from situations that just
Let me
are
tell you.
things that are just an inconvenience. An inconvenience is not a threat. It is an inconvenience. Like I've had times where a woman hit on me and wouldn't and kept on kind of pushing the issue because she's trying to get closer to me. And like that lady at the event who put her boob on my shoulder when she was trying to come up and talk to me. And all I did was I was like, "Girl, you better get your titty off my shoulder." Like I walked away.
How
Like
did you feel threatened or were you flattered, Boyce?
neither. I felt like no, this lady did not put her titty on my shoulder. Like she did
So
that.
you weren't flattered? You had to have been
No,
flattered. No.
no, I didn't like her. She wasn't. No,
Oh.
that lady was not appealing to me. And I was at an event. I was just signed a bunch of books. I don't want to be sitting there
Yeah,
with
you do get
somebody
kind
gonna
of.
take a picture of me with some lady's boob on my shoulder. No. But I didn't see it as a threat. Like if you told me like, oh my God, we're gonna file an investigation and have her sent to jail
You
and
felt
have her
violated.
cause her to lose her job, like I'd be like, no, don't do that. Just tell her to keep her titties to herself.
She's trying to get a group. You trying to get a groupie going,
I'd be like,
Boyce.
put the things back in the holster, girl. What you calm
got your
yourself
got your
down.
guns out.
Right.
That is so
Buy
funny.
another book. Like don't put your titty on my shoulder,
Well,
right?
what if she was attractive? I'm curious if that's like a fantasy of yours. Maybe
No,
we can
that's
act
not.
that
No,
out or
we can't.
something.
No, we can't. That is not a fantasy of mine.
No.
No, you are
I can pretend like how about I pretend like I'm a
you
groupie
want to
one
be a
day?
groupie?
Yeah, I feel like, oh gosh, Dr. Boyce, I just love your podcast. I listen to it every day. What you
Oh,
call
and
show?
here's a
Let's
to
act it out.
be a full groupie, you gotta laugh at all my jokes. Like everything I say has to be funny. So
Oh, I
let's
gotta
practice.
laugh
Okay,
at you.
I want to tell you
Okay.
a joke. So one day I'm walking and I saw this dog, and then the dog just came up to me like, "What are you doing today?"
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
God, Dr.
"Yeah," and I'm
Boyce.
like, "Why is this dog smiling at me?" It was the craziest thing. And then you gotta laugh.
Oh,
You're
oh my
so
goodness,
funny.
Dr.
You
Boyce.
are hilarious.
Come tell me some more jokes. Why
Okay.
don't you come back to my hotel with me and tell me some more jokes?
Okay.
How about that? Would you
All right.
like that?
You're in room 738.
7:38. Come on up.
Okay, I'll be up there.
Okay, that's good.
All
We
right.
got the role
I'll be
play.
up there at 11:30
11:30.
with more jokes.
Be there right sharp.
Hmm.
Sharp at 11:30. I
Yeah,
don't know why I have a southern accent as I'm saying
I
that.
know.
Like
Okay, Whitley Gilbert.
like a
But you know what?
uh-huh.
I think that's what I think they have to do. They have to shift out and stop acting like everything is borderline rape. I think that would be more accurate and more fair, because you
Yeah.
can't allow people who, that's the other thing. You're opening the door for people to settle scores with men by
Mhm.
saying, okay, like that. What happened on your campus?
Yeah.
When the brother he got investigated, and he didn't even know this lady, and this lady put this dark cloud over him, where everything he had could have been taken away.
Oh, it happened to a ton of faculty. Like it was just one of many that was going on, and I don't think anything ever came of any of it.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
like that.
really something.
Yeah, these like little investigations. That can ruin somebody's life. It can ruin their reputation. Like nobody wants to work with somebody who's been accused of something terrible.
Yeah,
Right.
and what's going to end up happening is that men are just going to be too scared of women. Men are not even going to want to hit. Like, how are people going to start dating? You can only date somebody through a dating app.
I
You
think.
cannot date
Well,
anybody outside of a dating app.
yeah.
You're too scared to say something to someone, then they can go around and make an accusation, and all these things can happen to you.
I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to. I think it's part of the feminist gender war that I've seen, where it's a power thing. They're trying to give women all the power that men all have always had. Like one of the things they talk about with harassment is the power dynamic. The men, if your boss hits on you, it's not you're the victim automatically because he has more power than you. Some people seem to believe that, and it seems to me like they're shifting that power back. Where now it's like
Mm-hmm.
if you choose to have dinner with a woman and it's private, it's just you and her, if she goes out and accuses you of something, it's going to be her word over yours.
Yeah, and this abuse of power, I think, is the problem because these things really happen in workplaces where it's really problematic. Like the real cases of sexual assault, the real cases of rape, the real cases
Mm-hmm.
of these, these people who really abuse their power. Real cases of that is going to be just overshadowed by all of this frivolous stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
happening. And
Becky
that's the
Sears.
part that I don't like because rape is real. Like it happens all the time, probably
Yeah.
happening right now, unfortunately, on
Yeah.
a Friday night.
Yeah.
And those people are scared to come forth because you have all of these, trumped up cases that get a lot of
That
publicity.
kill the credibility.
It kills the
Yeah.
credibility. So it's really terrible.
I'm gonna read DDS's comment.
Hmm.
DDS is I don't know the brother's name. I don't know if it might not even be a brother, it might be a woman. But DDS, say if you want to put your first name in, because I gotta say give a public thank you to DDS.
What did he
DDS is
say?
DDS comes into all the podcasts
Hmm.
and does a great job of moderating. And when I see that person's
You say you don't know DDS.
I
He's
don't
your
I don't know I
moderator. You
don't know
don't even
DDS.
know.
Yeah, I don't know DDS's name. So feel free to give me your first name so I'll know it. But
Hmm.
when I see DDS, I feel a sense of comfort because
Is
it,
he handling it
he handles his
in the
business.
chat?
Yeah, yeah, he shuts it down. I mean, he puts up the little links and URLs and then and of course there's Duel obviously. So anyway, let
Oh,
me
you gotta love Duel.
yeah, oh yeah. Let me read DDS's comment. He
Hmm.
says, DDS says the word threat should not be used that loosely. It's a word that carries serious consequences in legal terms. The proper term in this context is offensive. I agree with that. What do you think?
Wait, I wasn't listening. I was reading the chat. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well, so pay attention, lady.
Okay, I'm sorry, not paying
The
attention. I'm
proper
not
word,
working.
he said, the proper word is
Oh, a
not
threat.
threat. It is offensive. Like you were offended. And offended, right? And you shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have the right to cause somebody to lose their job because you were offended. You shouldn't cause somebody to be under investigation for a year because you were offended. You should not have the right to send somebody to jail because you were offended.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I hope we can agree. I don't know. Do you guys agree? What do you all think about that? Maybe that should be the new rule, right? If being offended does not mean you were threatened. It just means you were a little annoyed. But don't be offensive. Like, don't be an ass. Like, if I mean, it's a simple rule I would say for guys is like, if a woman doesn't like you, don't keep trying to talk to her. Like, and that's the thing. I learned that as a kid. Like, I never understood those guys who would just keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. And then I learned, I didn't learn till I became an adult that some women expect that. Some women expect you to try three, four, five times and then they let the guard down. And I was always very straightforward. I'd be like, "Would you like to go out with me?" And if you say no, I'm gonna be like, "Okay, no problem." I would take women for their word, you know. And I didn't know that there was this game some people play where she's supposed to reject you five times. Did I ever tell you about one time there was this lady that I liked? She was I'm sorry, babe, but she was a smart lady. Like I've always liked smart black women, so she was a smart black lady.
Mm.
She's actually a professor somewhere now, and I I said to her a long time ago, I said, hey, why don't we date? Why don't we have a relationship? And she said, no, I don't think it would be a good idea. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. And then her friend calls me. Her friend goes, why don't you try to talk to so and so?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I asked her, and she said she wasn't interested. And she said, no, she was interested. She was just trying to see if you were serious. And I,
She
and
playing games.
yeah, and I was like, well, if she was interested, she would have told me. Like where I come from, women tell you,
Was she giving you clues? Was she like,
I don't
no,
know how to read
I'm
clues.
interested?
You know what the most dangerous thing
Did she
for?
have to put her boobs on your chest
No,
or,
she didn't.
or her
She did
arms
not
so
put
that you would
titties
know?
on my shoulder. But no, seriously though, like where I
Uh-huh.
come from, women that tell you what they want. Like
Oh, really?
they just they're direct. They're not gonna play a game with you like that. Because the problem is with men, especially in the Me Too era, if you get the signals crossed, that can your ass could be you could lose your job over that. Like you're thinking, oh yeah, she must really like me. She's laughing at my jokes. She's talking to me for hours, and we're really vibing. And then next thing you know, you're like, okay, she's waiting on me to make the move. I'm gonna go ahead and make the move,
Make
right?
that
So you're
move.
trying to be a man, you're trying to be chivalrous, and then you make the move, and then she's like, no, I just wanted to talk to you about, I just wanted to talk to you about Old English
Oh, that's
literature for
so
5 hours.
embarrassing. It's like
Yeah,
egg on your
yeah.
face.
So it's like, I'm sorry, in this environment women have to be straight up and direct. Y'all can't. No, I'm sorry, you can't because men it's too risky for a man to make a move without knowing for sure that you're interested.
Can't play no games now.
Yeah, because there's a thin line
Mm-hmm.
between doing something that a woman will find desirable versus being a creep. Like you try to kiss a
Mm.
woman who ain't planning on kissing you, you become a creep. You right in there with the rapist and the.
It's embarrassing.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't. No, you gonna have to tell me. You got to spell it out.
It's tough for you, man. Like, what are y'all gonna do? Like, how would I don't understand. Like, it's got to be tough for men in the dating scene right now.
It's almost to the point where men might have to, especially men that really got something to lose. I don't think it's out of the question to get some documentation. Like, okay,
Ah,
we supposed to be doing the thing. Like, send me a text message saying, "Will you have sex with me today?" And even then, that still won't be enough. But at least that'll be
yeah,
something that.
because you can change your mind at any point.
Right, right, right. And then the other thing too is I would say to men, get to know her. Like don't just get with a woman that you just met, because
Oh, you're taking the fun out of it. So there's no one night stands and all of that. All of that
no,
has to
no,
go.
no, because crazy people can hold it in for a while. They know how to hide their crazy.
They can hold it crazy
Some crazy people you
for a
got.
couple of hours. They can hold it
Yeah, a
in.
lot of
Yeah,
crazy people are like dormant.
before it pops.
Yeah, they're like these dormant, like Godzilla types. You know how Godzilla stays underground? He's real cool and chill, and then you wake him up and he's like, "Ah!" right, destroying everything.
Or
Like
the
some
Hulk.
crazy people can be dormant crazy. Like you got to trigger their crazy, so you got to get to know her for a while, and just see her in different situations, and then when make sure her crazy doesn't get triggered, and then after about 2-3 months of getting to know her, then maybe you make a move. And I know that sounds old fashioned. A lot of people don't. That's not very popular, but that's what I used to do when I was single. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't run it up on some lady I just met. Oh, you might be
How
crazy.
long would you take? You take a
It
while.
depends. It would depend on the situation. It would depend on how many interactions I had with the person, who introduced me to the person, um,
Ah, someone to vouch for you.
yeah, or how serious I might be.
Hmm.
If you because you can watch people even on social media. I'll tell you about the lady I was watching before I was single. I watched her on social media for a while, and then she did something real crazy. I said, "Your crazy got triggered."
She couldn't hold it in.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta watch. You really and you let people just talk. You talk to them. You let them talk, and then eventually they'll just say something real crazy. And if you just don't react to it, you just act like you're cool and calm, then they'll keep on telling you. They'll tell on themselves. Like Maya Angelou said, when people tell you who they are, you gotta believe them.
Hmm. Hmm.
But a lot of times we get distracted because somebody's attractive and all this other stuff.
You
But
ignore it. The red flags.
yeah. When you have something to lose, like I'm talking, like when you really like you building your business, you're trying to build your reputation or whatever, and even if you do everything perfect, it can still be, you know,
Well, it's a leap of faith, boys.
it is a leap of faith. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. A lot of predators out here. Could y'all do us a favor and please hit the thumbs up button? And Exposer says Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia are like a B1 table talk.
Ah, like the red table talk.
Yeah, we got pillow talk.
Pillow
I
talk,
think we're
yeah.
onto something.
Do we have a red pillow talk?
Yeah, like pillow talk.
We
Like
should just bite off of Will and Jada. Let's
we
just
really
do
should.
exactly what they do.
The red pillow
Red
talk.
pillow talk.
A pillow's more interesting than a table anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys like this, huh? So you think we should keep doing this? All right. So by the way, Alicia's website, and you can follow her on Instagram, is Coaching with Dr. Alicia. It's right there on the screen. So if you could follow her, and if you could please hit the thumbs up button wherever you are, we'd appreciate that. So let me read a little bit more about the Dyson thing because we were talking about that earlier. We should get back to that, and then we can go to bed. The student added that she met with Kilkenny around this time. Okay, a May 26th email obtained by the Voice from Kilkenny to the student confirmed that an official investigation had begun with two members of the IDEA office looking into student accounts of Dyson's behavior. Under IDEA confidentiality procedures, Dyson was not mentioned by name in that email, but previous messages in the same chain mentioned him explicitly in connection with meetings about incidents of harassment toward the student. On May 27th, the student received an email from Title IX and civil rights investigator Sarah Honori to schedule a meeting with Honori and Bisi Okabadejo, Associate Vice President of IDEA, to discuss relevant information to the investigation. The Georgetown student is not the first individual to bring forward allegations against Dyson. Crystal Fleming, a professor at Stony Brook University who helped organize a conference with Dyson while in graduate school, has also made public allegations against Dyson for similar harassing behaviors while he was a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Fleming and Dyson did not collaborate on the conference. Fleming organized the conference as a graduate student for which Dyson was asked to speak, which is what spurred their interaction. Fleming initially shared her experiences in a 2017 Twitter thread about an unnamed professor at the height of the Me Too movement. Of the professor's influence and harassment, she wrote, "It was such a confusing mix of emotions for a naive 20-something grad student. Initially flattery from garnering the interest of a star, combined with disappointment and disgust at realizing I was being sexually objectified rather than being treated as an intellectual peer." So I'm curious. So here's the thing. I want to focus on her last sentence. I'm going to ask you a question. She said, she said, obviously she was upset because she feels that she was being objectified rather than being seen as an intellectual peer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that in order to be seen as an intellectual peer, that a person can't also find you attractive? Because you're my intellectual peer. You're a full professor of social work. I fully respect that. I love your brain, and I also love your booty. So does that make me a bad person that I notice your brain and your body? Do I have to pretend like I only notice one and not the other? Must it be one or the other? Can it just be both and? Maybe I think that intelligent Black women with curves are incredibly sexy. Why does it have to be one or the other?
The thing is that I think this is a professional setting. So this is a place where he needs to comment on her brain instead of her booty.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
So he probably should have kept it as professional as possible. I don't know. This new university, where's Vanderbilt he's going to, they got a problem on their hands. What they gonna do now? What are they gonna do with him? So I mean, he's just gotta stop hitting on women like this.
Well, I think the big challenge, the big issue that
he's just like a horny professor that wants to get with.
Let's not say that. We don't know that for sure, right? We don't know anything about Dyson.
Well, he's a man who's a professor.
Well,
right?
You know what it is. I think the thing that probably gets him
he's just throwing darts in the dark and hoping somebody. He's probably hitting on 10 women. He got 9 of them, and then the one that got away is the one that's reporting. He's just like going.
So the other 9 ain't reporting nothing.
The other 9, he didn't bag them all. So you never know.
The 10th one got away.
So the 10th one, he's like, good grief.
Well, you know what? Here's the key thing, though, that I think leads a lot of. There's 2 reasons why a lot of people have very little patience with Dyson on this. Is one, Bugsy Brooks asked that really crucial question. Mm-hmm. Isn't Dyson married? And yes, he is married.
He is married?
Yes.
You're kidding me.
Yes. Yeah, he's married to Marcia Dyson, who actually is my Facebook friend. And she's a professor, I think.
Facebook friend? Are we on Facebook?
Yeah.
If she's listening, she probably could be listening to this.
She could be. She seems like a nice lady. She's very smart.
Marcia.
Yeah.
Get your man together.
Yeah, so that's one issue. Now here's the other issue that I saw where people were responding to this when I mentioned it on social media.
Yeah.
Dyson was very, very, very critical of Bill Cosby. Like because Dyson mentored Mark Lamont Hill. And you remember Mark really believes, I guess because his gut tells him, in his womb he's feeling that Cosby's guilty. And he thinks that because he feels that in his soul, in his heart, that must make it true. And Mark got really furious when I said, what you feel, what you think happened is not the same as having evidence, right? And in the court of law, and guilty and innocent until proven guilty. You can't send a man to prison because you believe he's guilty. You send him to prison because you got evidence, and you have no evidence, and that's why you're upset, right? So remember that Dyson was really critical of Cosby a few years ago. Wrote a whole book about Cosby.
He wrote a book about Bill
Yeah,
Cosby?
yeah. When he said, I think he said something like, "Was Bill Cosby right, or has the black middle class lost its mind?" I think that was the name of
Oh,
it.
it had nothing to do with his sexual stuff.
No, it was back when he gave the pound cake speech. Cosby
I
did.
do not like that pound cake speech.
Yeah, the pound cake speech was a bit heavy. You know what it
It was
was?
out of context. Like, I understand why the pound cake speech was done,
Right.
but that was poorly done.
It was
I'll
a
just put it that
it was a
way.
bit much, and I think where it came from is the fact that Cosby was very frustrated because he'd worked so hard to help build the community, and his son. Remember, his son got murdered,
Yeah, his son
and I
was
think I
murdered.
think he was pissed. I think he was just so mad about what happened to his son. I don't know about anybody. I don't know
Or
anybody
he
else
was
agrees,
just
but
upset about what happened to his show. So, like, he thought his show was going to be like, is as revolutionary and as progressive as the Cosby Show was, and different world. Like,
mhm,
he thought, there, I've done it, I think. And it didn't, the impact of that show didn't have the appeal that I think he wanted. That's what I
mhm.
think. Come out, Def Comedy Jam came out right after that, and like a whole
Oh,
bunch of
I bet he
stuff
hated
came
Def
out.
Comedy
He did
Jam.
not like Def Comedy Jam, I'm
Mm,
certain. And what's the other show? The Martin Lawrence came
Martin.
out, which I love,
Martin.
by the way. So, like, those shows came out, and it was like something was like, for, I think, for Bill Cosby. I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth, but I really think that he was a little frustrated with the lack of progress we were making. So it was more like the
Mm,
pound cake speech was like a frustrating speech, but he
mhm.
shouldn't have had that talk in front of all those white people. It's like, why would you be saying stuff like that? I didn't like
Yeah.
it. He was victim blaming people who were in these
Well,
unfortunate
well,
situations.
that was the thing I think you could have critiqued Cosby on, is the fact that he would talk. You have a lot of people that'll do that. That'll talk real tough to black people, but when white people get around, they become quiet as church mice. They let white people off the hook, and I think that there are things Cosby said in that speech that Louis Farrakhan could have easily said. He could have said the exact same thing, but Farrakhan has more credibility because Farrakhan ain't scared of white people. He'll say the
Hmm.
same thing whether you white, black, or anything, and that's really what it is. It's not to say black people don't need to be, asked to shape up. Some of our people out here acting a goddamn fool. We know that.
Yeah, he
Some of
was.
our people are lost. Some of our people are messed up in the head. So, it's okay to challenge those people to do better. But if you can't stand up and look eye to eye to the white man too, then you're kind of being biased in your approach.
Yeah, he wasn't given any. He wasn't. He was blaming black people, but it was in a way where they were like, things were happening to them. That some of it, let's tease some of it out. Some of the issues that you're going through is you, but some of the issues you're going through is structural. And he
Mm,
never addressed the structural issues in
hmm.
that
Yeah,
pound cake
right.
speech, which she should have been.
Hmm.
And that's where I got off the bus with Bill
Well, for
Cosby.
Cosby, you also got to remember. I think Cosby was born probably about 1930 something, 1940. Was it 40,
Uh-huh.
60, 80? Probably about 1940, 1939, around that time, right? So you think about this, right? Cosby, the crack era came along. You and I have been watching Snowfall, and we saw what happened to the community during the crack era, and how it just totally just obliterated. It was like dropping a nuclear bomb on the black
The
community.
entire generation of people was just like wiped out, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So everything you were building up to that point just got destroyed and set back 100 years. Now you got people, and you see it around everywhere. You see black men that hate black women that are like, "Why would I want to marry a woman and start a family? Like, I can like, why would I be with a woman when I could just be gay or just go have 50 chicks and make a bunch of babies or babies mamas and or why I love black people when we could just kill them instead? Like there are people. Think about this. You have music that glorifies the murdering of black people, and
Hmm.
but yet you run around screaming Black Lives Matter, but yet you're rapping into songs that or glorifying the murder of black people. That just shows a lot of our people are just butt naked crazy, just have lost their damn mind.
Are you giving your own pound cake speech, boys?
I'm giving
What's
my.
up with that?
It might be a pound cake speech. I don't
What
know.
about some structural stuff? I can get into my
Oh,
social.
I
I
talked.
can put my
Oh,
social work
well,
hat
well,
on
ma'am,
here.
ma'am, I did. I began the discussion with a structural issue, which was
Okay.
the CIA dumping billions of
Okay.
dollars of
Thank
crack
you.
into the black community. So,
Thank you very
so
much.
yes, it always goes back to the white man, and I am no more worried about the white man than I am with some of these ridiculous, crazy black people. I will speak up to all of them, and I will tell the truth to all of them. I have no fear of any of that.
Okay.
So I think at the end of the day, you're right. You got to have a balanced discussion, and it does link back to white supremacy. That white supremacy is what messed us up. But it's also up to us to clean us up. We got to take some responsibility. White people ain't gonna get no nicer. White people ain't never gonna stop being white.
A snake will never stop being a snake. Don't
Right.
be mad because a snake bit you. That's what snakes do. That's
Exactly.
what they do. They bite.
Exactly. Stop hanging out with the snake. Stop taking orders from the snake. Stop
Yeah.
trying to.
You can't trust them. You can't trust, just like on Snowfall, you can't trust Reed.
No, Reed, the
Reed,
CIA
the
agent,
CIA agent, he do what he do.
white
Like,
boy Reed.
how can you be surprised at what happened? I won't give it away about
You,
what happened,
you
but you
can't
can't
be
trust
surprised.
him.
You can't be surprised.
Reed was the one that said, Franklin, trust
Don't nobody.
nobody.
The people
He
in here.
said, trust
The people
nobody.
listening. Don't half of them don't know who Reed and Franklin are.
Yeah, but you got to get on some Snowfall. You
Oh,
ain't on no Snowfall. You need to get on it right now.
Snowfall's a good show. So
That's
go
your
watch
weekend
Snowfall. It's a good
binge.
show. Yeah, you guys will like it. So let me read.
Okay, read some
Listen.
more.
Okay, they said in an email to the Voice, Fleming clarified the timeline of Dyson's behavior against her as a graduate student. Fleming. So they're starting to say the person's name. So that.
That's the lady
Oh,
from the
Fleming is the
other.
lady that did the tweet. Okay, so she says, I think it's important to contextualize that what I shared with what I shared with the fact that Dyson was not my professor when the incident took place. I was a graduate student at Harvard, and I believe he was then a professor at UPenn. Although he was not my professor, his conduct was still appalling and had a negative impact on me as a young scholar. Let's see here. I would only add that I am proud of the courageous students who have expressed concerns about Professor Dyson. Georgetown did not respond to specific questions about the 2020 Dyson investigation, referring only to the investigation process for allegations of harassment by professors. While we can't comment on any individual cases, Georgetown has robust processes in place for responding to allegations of sexual assault and misconduct, including options for filing a formal complaint. A Georgetown University spokesperson wrote in an email to The Voice, the university conducts ideal investigations to review alleged allegations, blah, blah, blah. Georgetown University defines harassment, here, okay, so this is important, as verbal or physical conduct that results in an intimidating, hostile, or offensive educational or work environment, or negatively affects an individual's work or educational opportunities. Quote, harassment is especially serious when it occurs between teachers and students or supervisors and subordinates. In such situations, harassment unfairly exploits the power inherent in the faculty member's supervisor's position, the university said. So what do you think about what I just said?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a great PR. I mean, that's what the spokesperson is supposed to say. All universities are supposed to have those policies in place, and they have to carry it out. That's all there is. It's an investigation. Somebody forms a complaint, and then you have to investigate. You have to take it seriously.
Well, they passed those laws,
They pass those
but isn't it
laws,
funny though? Like when black people
and
are
I
trying,
think those
but
laws
think
need to be
about this though.
tweaked.
When white women want remedies for like sexual harassment, like they got all kinds of shit in place.
Hmm.
But when black people are being mistreated on the job or going through all kinds of racism, there's nothing.
There's absolutely nothing in
Yeah,
place for us.
when I was at Syracuse and I was going through the racism that I experienced there, I didn't have any remedies. I couldn't go file a complaint. Those people made me extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, you get messages, pretty clear messages. Like, even if I wanted to file a complaint or something, I get clear messages. Well, you might not want to do this if you want to get promoted. You might not want to do this if you want to get. So you get messages all the time not to upset the apple cart as a black person.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, PBS did a special.
About what?
The lady from North Carolina who left North Carolina to go to
Oh yeah,
Howard.
Hannah Nicole Jones.
Hannah Nicole Jones. So PBS did a special on black women in higher education.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. Like, it was I mean, everything that they talked about what happens to black women in higher education, I could identify with all of it. It was really amazing. Because you do feel alone, because I'm the only black female professor, tenured professor. professor at my institution. And it's like that at all institutions. I mean, I have colleagues all over the country.
Yeah.
And, they have some of the similar struggles that you have with individuals. So, I mean, it's just really interesting how our stories are all the same.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
we going to do?
Build our own universities. I would like to. That's why we started the Black Business School. I said, I really, honestly, I'm not the guy. I can do certain kinds of leadership, but some leadership I probably am not equipped to do. But one of the things I always felt was, I said, if white people can create a university, I can too. Whatever they can do, we can do better.
Yeah, but we created the first university.
What was the first university?
But you got to know your history, man. You got to get on that.
Oh, you're talking about in Africa, like ancient Kemet?
Ancient Kemet. So we create. So it's them imitating us. We're imitating them, imitating us.
We're imitating them, imitating us.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Like doing university.
I think that's a good
we need to
note
reclaim that. That's our stuff.
Yeah, that's a good note to finish the conversation on. Black people are the originators of everything.
Of everything. It all comes through us.
Mathematics,
life
science,
itself comes through us.
That is so true. Yeah. So
it's our stuff.
I'm gonna tell you, when we started working on the Black Business School and all the stuff we do over there, and 95% of our students have never paid us more than $500. You compare that to students that go to these racist universities and they end up $200,000 in debt. We have black millionaires, real estate professionals, estate planning attorneys, PhDs, all the stuff that you see at a lot of white universities, except better, because these are people that actually know what they're doing in terms of having practice in the field. And not that universities don't have people that know what they're doing, but these are people that are really out there having to prove themselves. And we're more effective. We're better at it. We're better at educating black people than pretty much every school out here, including HBCUs, because we teach them based on powernomics. And they walk away saying, my life is better. I feel freer. I have more wealth. I have generational legacy. I have power. Let me just tell you this little thing. I'm going to brag. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead and brag.
There was a group that I did a thing with today. I want to say it's Black Male Ventures or Black Men Ventures or something like that. And they had a pitch competition tonight, and I was one of the judges. And you had all these brothers pitching their businesses. And the pitches were extraordinary.
Were they good?
Yeah, the brothers' ages ranged, I think, from about maybe 22 to maybe 45. And all these black men gave their business pitches, and these ideas were off the hook. And they did extraordinary pitches. And I told them, I said, if these guys get funding, if we can fund these businesses, you're talking about sending our own rocket ships to the moon. Like somebody in this room, some of these guys are going to be multimillionaires, and one of them might even be a billionaire.
Wow.
That's where our leadership is going to come from, and that's what we have to support. So that's what I'm an advocate for. If you want to pay me my reparations, don't give me no Black Lives Matter flag on the wall. Don't come tell me that you like me. Don't hold my hand and sing "We Shall Overcome." Don't invite me to your Martin Luther King Day dinner. Don't give me a Juneteenth holiday.
I was gonna say.
You know what I want? Give these business owners access to the capital they need, millions of capital for each of them, so they can go build the businesses that are going to employ black people, so that they can, or like our foundation, how we want to support black-owned schools. We need our own stuff, and we've done that. We've given money to several. We're going to give $20,000 to Black Achievers, you and I. We gave money to down in Georgia to King Randall School, the X School for Boys. We gave money to Freedom Home Academy International. And there's another one in there. I can't remember what it is, but we've been putting them, So I think that's what you got to do. You got to build the future. Stop building futures for white people. Seriously, when our best and brightest are going to work for white people, that's what you're doing. You're building a future for white people. And then your community ain't got nothing. What kind of sense does that make? That's sucker sense. That's a sucker move. I'm sorry. I'm tired of being a sucker.
Tired of being a sucker.
I'm not going to be no sucker. I love you. I'm a sucker for you, baby. Give me a kiss.
Aw.
All right, black people. We're about to get on out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and Alicia's Instagram is Coaching with Dr. Alicia. And this is her website. She does couples counseling and all kinds of stuff. So feel free to take a look. I'm going to put her URL on the screen so you guys can see it. And so you can show respect to what Alicia does. And she's very good at what she does.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. These conversations.
So much joy in what I do.
Yeah. This is called this is what we call pillow talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia, because we literally are laying our heads on pillows and talking, and we figured that it would be fun to engage, I think it's pretty cool. Like you're a very smart lady. I like talking to you, and I think we believe in love. We believe in education. We believe in progress. We believe in blackness. We believe in greatness, black excellence, and that's what the world needs. So,
Okay, let's
all
be a
right,
beacon of that voice.
right on. Oh,
Hmm.
that's my uncle Jerry Watkins Sr. There he is. What's up, Uncle
Hey,
Jerry?
Uncle Jerry.
How you doing? It's my daddy's brother. Yeah, he's a great man. He's a veteran. Thank you. By the way, shout out to the veterans in the
Is he a
room.
combat veteran? Did he
Thank you for
actually
your
go?
service. He went to Nam. Yeah, I think
He
he
went
did.
to Nam.
Yeah,
Okay.
Uncle Jerry. I think he did 2 tours in Nam, right? Yeah, yeah. So thanks to the veterans for the service. That's not easy.
Mm-mm.
We don't respect the veterans like we should. And that's a damn shame, if you ask me. So anyway, you guys have a great night, and please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you would like to. And don't forget, we have the Black Love channel, which is a YouTube channel we have where we kind of do a lot of our stuff over there. So feel free to subscribe to the blacklovechannel.com. I will put it on the screen, but I can't find it. So there it is. It's right there. So have a good night, everybody. We will see you soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.